woke up, tune in. The night is calling you. Planets, comets, moon, and stars, there's always something new. From stargazing to science, we'll guide you through the sky. With the ALPO family, reaching higher, looking high. So grab your scope, your notes, your dreams, let curiosity unlock it. You're listening now to the one and only Observer's Notebook Podcast.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Observer's Notebook, the official podcast of the Association of Lunar and Planetary Observers. Each episode, we share the latest discoveries, observing techniques, and stories from people who explore the moon, planets, comets, and beyond. Whether you're looking through your backyard telescope or leading professional research, we are all united under one sky. I'm Tim Robertson, your host, and thanks for being here. Now, if you usually listen to the podcast in your car or on your phone, did you know you can now watch it too? That's right, the Observer's Notebook is now available in video right here on the ALPO YouTube channel. And here's another interesting fact. Over 70% of the people watching or listening are not subscribed. So take a quick second, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell so you don't miss another episode. It's free, and it really helps grow the channel. This show is made possible by support from you, our viewers. And if you have to keep watching the Observer's Notebook, just check out our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/observersnotebook. For just $1 a month, you're supporting the show. For $5, you get early access to new episodes. For $10, you receive a copy of the Novice Observer's Handbook. And for $35 a month, you'll be listed as a producer on the podcast. Of course, you can find out more about the ALPO. Just visit www.alpo-astronomy.org, where you can join the organization for as little as $22 a year. And now let's get started with episode 242, and we're talking International Observe the Moon Night. Enjoy. All right, every year, hundreds of thousands of people around the world step outside for one special evening to celebrate our closest celestial neighbor during International Observe the Moon Night. It's a global event that reminds us no matter where we live, we share the same moon. Joining me today is Staci Horvath. She's back on the podcast again, leading the outreach lead for the NASA's Solar System Exploration Division of NASA Goddard Space Flight Center and the director of International Observe the Moon Night. Staci, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks, Tim. Excited to be here. Excited to talk about the moon.
Yeah, woo! That's what we do here.
Excellent.
So before we get into it, why don't you just give everybody a little bit of background about yourself?
Yes. Yep. So I think last year I was the outreach coordinator for the Solar System Exploration Division. Now I'm the outreach lead. So doing a little bit of the same role, just a little bit more of a leadership role. So I, as the outreach lead for the Planetary Science Division, I coordinate both in-person and virtual events, International Observe the Moon Night being one of our biggest public engagement programs. But then I also develop new outreach activities. So I'll talk a little bit about an Artemis 2 activity that you guys might find interesting that I created for the launch of that mission earlier this year. And then I also curate some digital resources, help with the content on the NASA Moon website, as well as the International Observe the Moon Night website, which is brand new this year. So we'll go through some of those exciting things as well. But
okay.
Yeah, happy to share.
So how did you get involved with NASA?
Oh, that's a great question. So let's see. Back in the day, I was in grad school at the University of Iowa. And as part of the the research/TA program, they have you kind of lead the public observing nights on the roof of the physics building. So these were about once a month. There's a giant 17-inch telescope on the roof of the building. And I think it was like the third or fourth Sunday or Saturday of every month, we would invite the public on the roof for some free observing. And this was like the first time I got exposed to one-on-one observing with others in a school capacity, because I hadn't really done that before. So I remember one particular event I had a family, and there was a little girl who had never looked through a telescope before. So I had a little 8-inch scope set up, pointed at Saturn, and she got to look through the scope and looked at Saturn and got so excited, and she called it a little ball with ears, which absolutely is so accurate. And ever since then, at the time, I was doing research on the moon and how it relates to like lunar magnetism and lunar geology.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to code things. And I spent half of the time wanting to throw my computer out the window because my code won't work. So that kind of like one-on-one interaction with the public talking about my research really opened my eyes to like, hey, you can actually do this as a career. So that being said, you fast forward a little bit of through some time, and I graduate with my master's in astronomy. And then this was back in 2017. So there's a big celestial event that happened that year.
Yes, there
the
is.
total solar eclipse, which isn't. There's another one coming up soon.
Yes.
But for that, so I wanted to see this event. I had never seen a total solar eclipse before. I've seen plenty of lunar eclipses. But after I graduated, I ended up going to the Center of Science and Industry in Ohio for a few months. I was a summer space camp instructor, and Ohio was very close to the path of totality. So after that little stint, I drove down to Tennessee and saw the total solar eclipse, which was so cool. It
Yep.
was absolutely, definitely.
Yeah, once you see one, it gets in your
hooked.
brain. It's like, okay, where's the next one?
Yep. And unfortunately, in 2024, we went to Texas and we saw like 5 seconds of totality, and then the clouds.
Yeah,
so
I was in Fredericksburg, Texas, and
Oh,
we were clouded all
yes.
morning, and then all of a sudden, like 5 minutes before the eclipse, it popped up.
Wow. Okay, I'm jealous. Yeah, it was slightly sad, but
Yeah.
well. But so after the total solar eclipse, I ended up going to Ireland for 3 months as an intern
Nice.
with Astronomy Ireland because I wanted to, do some traveling before I actually landed a career. So I helped organize their public star parties, and then like wrote a little bit for their magazine. Met a lot of really cool people. And then at the same time, well, actually, like a year before, had just been looking for job opportunities, and NASA has both like civil service workforce, but then they also have a like contractor workforce. So I had literally bookmarked my contracting company, AdNet, to see if they would have any job availabilities when I was ready to actually look for a job. So and when I was ready, I looked, and there happened to be an outreach coordinator position for planetary science. So I was like, I'm gonna apply, and then like a few months later, I ended up getting the job, and then started in I think 2018. It's been 8 years, but it was a little bit of a roundabout journey. But my first weekend starting here, I like jumped right into it with an outreach.
Good for you.
So it was great. Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
So when did International Observe the Moon Night begin?
Yes, this is a great question. So the program has actually been going on since 2010. So it's a long duration. We celebrated our 16th anniversary last year. Sweet 16. So it actually began in like at the same time as the launch of the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and the LCROSS missions back in 2009. So it was initially like a kind of like a national event, but it was so popular that it like immediately was international. And then we after that we successfully implemented the program every year. So it's been going for quite a while.
So what was NASA hoping to accomplish when they started this program?
Yeah, that is a great question. So we have some program goals, and they're on our website, and I can share a little bit more about the website later.
Okay.
But one is to, unite people on one day every year to just like everyone's going to be looking at the moon. It's a great opportunity so we provide a platform, our website, and then a bunch of resources so people don't have to start from scratch. But it's a great opportunity for people every year to catch up with what's been happening in lunar science and exploration. And in case folks haven't realized, there's been a lot going on. We've got Artemis 2 launched earlier this year, Artemis 3 coming up next year. There's been some commercial lunar payload services. Yes, fingers crossed. Some other smaller missions or instruments as well that are being developed. So we want to raise awareness for these different missions, different lunar science, different exploration. And then, we want to inspire folks, we want to support people to make it possible for anyone to participate in the program. So yeah, there's never a shortage of content, which is great.
Yeah. Are you surprised at how international this has become?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think it's like the moon is so relatable
Hmm.
that it's just like you can see the moon during the daytime, you can see the moon at nighttime. And it's just something that people can like. I always ask, please, share your favorite moon memory, and almost everyone has a favorite moon memory.
Hmm.
So, and you don't have to, you don't have to be from Texas, you don't have to be from the U.S. You can be from anywhere in the world, and I think it's an easy celestial world to connect with. So we've had participants from I think like 168 countries since program inception, and it's always fun. We have an evaluation team,
Hmm.
and they write a report every year. And we usually always have a few new countries join us every year.
Okay.
And we've had people participate, some astronauts from the International Space Station. We've had researchers from Antarctica. So yeah, it's really cool. It's like it's nice to see like this one little thing that can reach many 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 people from all around the world.
Great. So what's your favorite moon memory?
Oh my gosh! Well, my favorite it's actually from I think middle school. My parents got me a small, very small, it was like 4-inch telescope. So I like pointed it at the moon, not really expecting to see anything because I don't know. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I looked and it was so cool. It was, I think it was near a crescent moon, which is probably why that's one of my favorite phases now.
Mhm.
Just because full moons are cool, but you typically will have to have a moon filter because otherwise they're
Right.
very bright, as I'm sure your audience knows. But yeah, I remember just looking at the moon through my telescope and seeing like along the terminator, the line between the night and the daytime on the moon, all the little craters that you can see just pop out, and you're like, wow. So yeah, that's probably my favorite moon memory.
Yeah. The moon is such a great outreach object.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
you always hold this event around the first quarter moon, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that gives you a good idea. It's not too bright.
Exactly.
Everybody can
Yep.
see it. It's
Hmm.
early in the evening.
Yep.
So it all
Yeah.
seems to work.
Yeah, and that's like one thing that we try to aim for. This year in particular, it is a first quarter moon. Next year we had, or in like future years, sometimes because we have to avoid like major religious holidays, we try to hold it in September. Now moving a little bit away from October for a U.S. audience, but the moon is not always a first quarter moon. Every September
Mhm.
19th, it changes.
Right.
So that's a little bit of a challenge. So sometimes if it's a crescent moon, it's going to set a little bit earlier than a first quarter moon. So you have a little bit of a shorter observing opportunity. Whereas, the waxing gibbous will set a little bit later, but also rise a
I
little
think
bit
that's what
later.
we had last year. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yep.
you always try to hold
Exactly.
it on a Saturday night, so it's
We
middle of it.
try to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And
Yeah.
yeah, that tends to be the friendliest. But we do have flexible observing. So if this September
Hmm.
19th doesn't work, you can register a week before or a week after,
Okay.
and still participate.
So you promote groups hosting events
Hmm.
all throughout the world. What advice do you have for astronomy clubs thinking of hosting an event?
That is a great question. My number one advice would be to check out our website. We have a new website. We have a short link, so it's go.nasa.gov
Okay.
slash observe the moon. and I can share that in the description as well.
Okay.
But on our website, we have so many helpful resources. If you are a returning host, you'll notice the website is a little bit different. We had to migrate our website from our old site with just web migration per NASA standards. So we have a new website. We have a little bit of a new registration system as well, which I can talk about.
Okay.
But on our website, we have resources. So we have a how to host guide. We have an event, like a sample event. So if you have no idea where to start, you can check out our sample event. And all these, we have a little header. So each, you click on the tab and then click on the links underneath each tab. And then we have like an FAQ. We have find a partner. So if you are an astronomy club, I would recommend, looking for other folks in the area that you might want to partner with. Like, is there a local library that you might be able to work with? Is there a school group that you want to invite just to make sure you have some other avenues of promoting your specific event? And then we also have a bunch of activity ideas on our website. We have a curated list. But then we also have links out to other activity libraries. We have a lot of resources on our website, and I can go into more of those too if that would be helpful.
Yeah. How easy is it to register for the event?
Well, it's pretty simple. So if you go to the main website, go.nasa.gov/observe the moon. There's a register tab. So on the top, you just click the register button. We also have a call out on the main landing site. So when you click on the register tab, there is actually 3 different types of registration. One is a public event, which I'm sure a lot of your audience might be interested in. These are events that are meant to invite others to come to your event, to do observing, to do activities, to eat moon phase cookies. So that's the public event. We also have a private event, you can do household as well. Actually, I think it's private. Yeah, private event. So if you want to host an event, but you don't want the entire world to know about it, you can have a private event.
Okay.
And then our last one is an individual/household event. So if you are participating from your house or apartment or condo, you can just click register as an individual observer. Or if you're observing with your family, you can still participate. You can, go have s'mores in the backyard and observe the moon. And that would be an individual or household participation. So if you go on our website, you just fill out the form and you're officially part of the global observing community.
Great. Now, do you have information you want to share with us on slides or something?
As what?
You have a presentation or something you want to share with us?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can show. I have some just some slides that I've mostly talked about a lot of the things, but I think people like pictures.
Yes, they do.
I like pictures rather than staring at myself. So I will share my screen. Sweet. Okay. So these are pictures of actual participants from previous years. And I mentioned we have flexible programming. So you might ask hey, it is cloudy. How do I observe the moon? You can still observe the moon. So we have models. Here's an example of a modeling activity. These folks are making some space helmets. We have arts. You can do, you can sketch the moon. You can make some lunar artwork with buttons. I've seen in the past. And then, you can project the moon on a giant computer screen. So this is the flexible programming. You don't have to have a clear sky. We also have one of the new things on our website is our rain or shine resources page. And this is meant for, we have evaluation every year. And one of the things that folks were looking for were, hey, if it's clouded out, how can I still participate? And yes, definitely, you still can participate. And we have a bunch of resources on that rain or shine page that show hey, if you want to listen to a podcast about the moon, here's some examples. If you want to watch a moon themed movie or curated video list, here's some examples. So that's also on our website. And I think forget what my next. Oh yeah, and you had asked about the international aspect. So this is a map of global participation from last year's event. Last year's event was on October 4th, which in the U.S. was right during the middle of a government shutdown. So we were unfortunately not able to promote the event like after the 1st of October. But even despite that, we still had a lot of people participate from all over the world. So that was really amazing to see. So we had, people from the northern, southern, all hemispheres. Yep. Okay, and then I talked about the first quarter moon. Another thing in this image, there's actually, you can see Saturn here on the top. Yeah. So we like to say, so it's a moon event, right? A moon observing event. But we like to say we start with the moon and then go on from there to explore other places in our solar system and beyond. So it's not just, moon is a starting point to learning about other worlds. Moon maps. So I know we have a lot of amateur astronomers out in the world, all over the world, not just, in the United States. But we have for amateur astronomers, for any participants, we have moon maps on our website. So we have 3 different moon maps. They're also available in both the northern and the southern hemisphere.
Okay.
And we have so this one is the Lunar Maria. What Lunar Maria can you see? And then we have let's see, human landing sites. So these are the Apollo sites. You obviously won't be able to zoom in and see the landing equipment, but you can see the regions. And then we also have telescopic objects. So these are six features on the moon that one of the International Observe the Moon Night founders, actually, Brian Day, puts this together every year. And then our lovely graphic designer, V1, makes them and makes it into a nice visual resource. So like some of these, like Katina Davy, this is a 20-mile long-ish or 26-mile long-ish set of impact craters that you can't see them with your naked eye. So these would be like telescopic objects that you could try to aim for if you had a telescope. But then, we have the naked eye objects as well, with like the Maria, the darker regions of the moon. So moon maps are also available. You can download and print them. I mentioned a lot of resources earlier. So we have a moon activity collection, our moon maps. If you want to share your event with the world, we have display banners that you can download. We have a press release template, so you can start with our press release template and then, add your individual events information on there. We also have a video resource list. There's also a lunar news list that we keep. We add new information as we get more moon news, because there's never a shortage of moon news. So we try to help folks navigate all of the info. Let's see. So moon banners on the right here. The left one, this is a curated resources one-pager. So if you're a library or like a school and you want to share the program, you can print out this little display, this little flyer, and then put it in like a table display and say these are some helpful resources that folks can use to as a starting point to getting involved with the program.
Okay.
Let's see. Here's the website, our new website. Go.nasa.gov/observe the moon is linked on there. And for registering, I think I have register. You can register. So we have a register button here, and that will take you to the registration landing page. There's also the register button here. And then this is a sub page of NASA's main Earth Moon website. So you can navigate back. Like if you just want evergreen moon content, you can navigate back to the moon to learn about moon phases or tides. We also have a daily moon guide that I want to give a shout out to, because this is really fun. You can click on the daily moon guide and find out what the moon phase is on your whatever day of the week you want to look at. And then as well as some points of interest that you might want to look at with your eye or with a telescope. So that's also kind of fun. And we have lots of activity ideas. One thing that I like to share is the Sketch the Moon Together activity. So this is our moon observation journal. So you can actually start anytime. You can start on International Observed Moon Night. You can start before International Observed Moon Night. But this is kind of meant to show that you can see the moon during the daytime. It's not just a nighttime object. And then the moon's phases change, right? The moon's appearance changes depending on where it's at in its lunar cycle. So it's kind of a fun activity to get folks involved with. And you can start it as like a family activity if you want as well. And then I mentioned at the beginning, I made an Artemis to observe the moon, like an astronaut activity. So this is also linked on our highlighted activities page on our website. So this, in case you're not familiar, we sent 4 people to the moon or around the moon back on April 1st of this year. And one of the things that they had to do before they launched was do a lot of training to prepare for their lunar flyby. And to help people, like bring people along with the mission, we made an Artemis to observe the moon like an astronaut. So you had to with this activity, you have a set of different lunar targets that the astronauts were actually trained on, and then you go through the motions on, okay, if I'm observing this target, like what is it? What does it look like? What's its illumination? So like, is it bright? Is it dark? And all of this information will help the scientists figure out, okay, what's the composition of this particular region of the moon based off of your observations. So this one's a fun activity because you actually get to go along with how the astronauts were trained during before their flyby, which is really cool. And a huge shout out to Amber Turner at Goddard for helping make this activity. She's the one that made the lunar passport. If you saw, yeah, during the mission, her little lunar passport was on the little iPod or iPads in the little Orion spacecraft. So this is a fun activity. It's also a nice way to tie in Artemis, which would be kind of neat. And then a couple more. There's a moon photo challenge bingo, so you can like challenge your classroom to making or to filling this bingo sheet with moon themed activities. And then we have lots of coloring pages. We have moon inspired artwork. So we have our Flickr page this year set up. So you can, when you're observing the moon or after or before, you can submit your images. This can be, your actual observations, or it can be artwork like this, or, International Observed Moon Day 2024 with some aliens. So it can be really however you participate, and we'd love to see them. So that's on our Flickr page. We link to that on our website as well. And then cookie moon phases, because who doesn't like a big cookie?
That's right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Right. Now, have you seen an increase with Artemis interest in the program?
Yeah. So that's actually a great point. So have you heard of Moonjoy, the Moonjoy phenomenon from Artemis 2? So this is a key phrase that one of the science
Moonjoy, yeah.
Yeah, Moonjoy. Yep.
I loved
Moonjoy. It. Yeah. So from that, there has been like a lot of interest in just, the moon in general because of Artemis 2. So this is a perfect slide to show on this front. So we are trying to, keep that momentum going by relating like, hey, this new moon video came out and it has NASA's updates with respect to like Moonbase or Artemis 3. So we have those two, and then there's the featured activities, and then I mentioned the Rain or Shine resources toolkit as well. So Artemis is, definitely super helpful, and a great opportunity to keep up to date with what is going on with, and International Observed Moon Night is a great opportunity to keep up to date with what is going on in Artemis realms.
Yeah, the ALPO, we're big in citizen science, promoting observations. We do a lot of pro-am collaboration. How can amateur astronomers contribute simply beyond looking at the moon?
Yeah, that is a great question. I think the number one thing is to share International Observable Moon Night with your neighbor or, with your amateur astronomy club, because those are all over the world,
Hmm.
with your parents, with your friends. Just that individual, share the program with folks, and that you can register. Register your participation. If you have a public event, great. Private event, awesome. Public or a individual observer as well. That is another option. But we do, yeah, amateur astronomers are super fabulous. We also, if someone reaches out to you because they are planning an International Observe the Moon Night event, we do link to find a partner page. We have like, hey, maybe your local astronomy club is interested
Hmm.
in collaborating with you because this group needs a telescope. Just like being willing to share your knowledge and your enthusiasm for not just moon observing, but for just general astronomy would be amazing. So, yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I've held I think four of these events in the community where I live,
Wow. Yeah.
and it'll be the middle of, September, not September, like
Mhm.
October or June,
Yes. Yep.
and I'll have somebody run into me, say, "Hey, when are you gonna bring the telescopes out again, and we can all look at the
Yeah.
moon?" So it's
Yes.
just it's they're really
Uh-huh.
motivated about it. They love coming out. They bring their grandkids out to
Yep.
observe the moon, and yes, we do the cookies and everything too. So no,
I love hearing that.
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so do you have a favorite lunar feature?
I kind of do. Well, besides the entire moon, I really like Tycho crater. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you are looking at the moon, it's the bright impact crater on the south part of the moon, and it has these magnificent rays that spread for like thousands of kilometers. So I think that's one of my favorite sites. Yeah,
Cool.
that you can see from Earth. You don't need any fancy equipment. You can look at it with your
Yep.
eye.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, do you have anything else you'd like to share about International Observe the Moon Night?
Let's see. I will share this lovely slide. You are invited. So I linked to there's a QR code there to the official website. Remember, if you're returning, the website looks different, but we do have a lot of the same resources that we had on our old site, just a little bit different of a registration system. And then we do have a survey. So if you happen to be, you know, making, or if you're hosting your own event, we have a host survey as well on our website. The one here is a participant survey. So
Okay.
if you just participate, anyone can fill out the survey because we're always trying to improve the program so that future years are even better than the last. But definitely, we welcome your participation, and I hope that folks have a great observing time and clear skies. If it's not clear skies, don't forget you can be creative and observe the moon in other ways.
That's true. Well, Stacy, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast today. I will link all that information in the show notes, and I hope you have a great success with Observe the Moon Night, and I will be sending my information to you as well.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone.
All right, you take care. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Observer's Notebook podcast. I again want to thank Staci Horvath for coming on the podcast and talking about International Observe the Moon Night in September. Please get out there and observe it. Uh, Grab your friends and set up your telescopes. Let's make this a huge event tonight, and please register for it as well. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment and give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share the podcast. It really helps us reach more listeners. New episodes of the Observer's Notebook are released on the 1st and 15th of every month. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and the ALPO YouTube channel. And if you'd like to help support the podcast, you can do so through Patreon. For as little as a few dollars a month, up to $35 a month, where you receive exclusive benefits, including a 1-year membership to the Alpo and producer credits. You'll find links on the Patreon page and the ALPO website. And a special thank you to our producers of this podcast, Steve Seentop and Michael Moyer, for their generous support. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you can reach me directly at tim.robertson@alpo-astronomy.org. Thanks for joining us today.